Hello, happy holidays, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for listening to Profoundish. My name is Alex. Today, Weston and I are doing something a little special and something a little unplugged. We're sitting down together in person and just having a little off-the-cuff fireside chat. Except there's no fireplace, and we're just two guys sitting in front of a microphone. But we're doing it together, and that's special. And being together is what Christmas is all about, right? So anyway, enjoy this extra special and extra long episode of Profoundish. All right, now cue the royalty-free Christmas music. Dude, I'm not used to this dynamic. This is weird to me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Profoundish. Alex and I are in person together, so if we sound a little bit different, it's because we're sharing one microphone, two guys.
One heart.
1.5 hearts.
1.5. Yeah, that's
I gave
right.
half mine away last Christmas.
Yep. Yes, and Merry Christmas, everybody, because it is tomorrow. This is Christmas Eve.
I think so, yeah. Is this actually Christmas Eve when this comes out?
Sunday is Christmas Eve.
Tells you what I know. What day is Christmas? The 25th? Is it the 25th every year?
Every year. It's
every
the 25th,
year, the 25th. Yeah, no, this is the Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve, everybody, / Christmas, whenever you're hearing this. Or, happy January 12th, or, July 4th, or whatever, whenever you're listening to this, because,
Yeah, we appreciate it, period. Yeah, Weston and I are together. I'm in town, and we thought, what better way to celebrate our Christmas episode than by being together? That's right. We got together.
It's actually kind of funny because the whole premise of last Christmas's episode was that we pretended that you came over to my house.
Yeah.
And then this Christmas episode, you just actually are at my house.
Right. Exactly. So what's going to happen is next year, it'll be virtual again, and then it'll be my house virtually. Then the year after that, you'll come back down to Tennessee, and it'll be my house again.
I think that was originally the plan, was that, except, without the in-person. It's like last year we're like, okay, next year we'll have to pretend we're going to your house.
Right.
Skip that.
Well, it worked out. Everything worked out really good, and I was just saying to Weston, him and I talk all the time. We've talked in person millions of times, but this still feels different because he's got this desk here, and I'm sitting across his desk. I don't know the best way to describe it. He's got a mic in the middle. I feel like I'm on, his talk show.
Yeah, because I've got all the computer monitors facing towards me on this, corner desk, right? So, and I've got this just one arm of the desk that's, blank so that we can speak over it. So I look like I'm at my station. I'm at my pod.
Right.
Doing all the audio or whatever, and he's sitting on the other side just like, hey, I'm here.
The thing about those talk shows, if you ever used to watch them back in the day, you would never get any good, real conversations out of anybody. Because it was a 10-minute conversation with, Tom Hanks or whoever.
It wouldn't even be 10 minutes. It's 5 at best.
Right. And they tell this scripted story, and then you're on to the next thing. It's what do you get out of that? You get nothing. Besides the name thrown on there.
Yeah, the moment you realize that there's, late night shows or talk shows, when you realize that those are... one, they're practiced. They'll do a trial run of all that. So every time you see something that's supposed to be surprising or shocking, or oh, we have a surprise for you, it's you've all practiced this. You've all done this 3 times, and you recorded it, and then you put it out, and the magic is gone.
Exactly. That's probably in part, because now we see a ton of the every celebrity is on every podcast now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You'll see clips of that all the time because you can actually have an hour-long or more sometimes conversation where you can really break things down sometimes.
Well, to be fair, because to the talk shows too, a lot of those are scripted because the only reason they have a celebrity guest on is because they're probably promoting something that they're doing, which is totally fine. If you're a professional actor, yeah, you're always working on some kind of movie. So it's okay, well, yeah, we've got I'm losing her, Jenna Ortega just dropped out of Scream 7 or whatever Scream is.
That's the Wednesday girl, right?
Yeah, that's the Wednesday girl. I don't know who else is in Scream 7, but this is just news that I saw recently or whatever. Yeah. So it's if you had her on the late night show, it's hey, we've got Jenna Ortega.
Right.
She's on Scream. We're going to talk for 5 minutes to promote Scream.
Right.
Which she's not a part of now, so this is a terrible example. It's a terrible example, but that's the whole point. But podcasts, conversely, I mean, you might have a celebrity on a big podcast that, they're still promoting their thing for a small bit of it. The podcast is still an hour long, so it's not you're not going to talk about the thing that they're promoting for literally an hour,
right?
Unless it's got that many stories, I guess.
I just like those because sometimes I'll tune into a few just if I like the celebrity specifically because you can at least dig into it a little bit more. I've always liked those interviews, like I'm a pretty big, at least I used to be, like a big Howard Stern fan, because he would ask the questions that nobody else asked. Sometimes uncomfortable questions. I don't know how familiar you are with any of his stuff, but that was kind of his thing, right? The whole shock jock stuff. But he'd sit down and ask stuff like, I keep thinking of Tom Hanks. He'd go, all right, Tom, how bad are your poops? You know, and I know that sounds silly, but he would ask crap like that. Like he would.
Crap.
And crap. But I like that because imagine being a celebrity that big and you're promoting something, and say you're going on these different talk shows or just in general, you know for a fact that so many people are asking you the same questions.
Yeah.
Right? Over and over. The least I feel like I would like it's like, oh wait, that threw me off. I wasn't expecting you to ask that, you know. I am not comparing myself to Tom Hanks, everybody, okay? But when my album came out, there's a couple small creators online who interviewed me about my album, which was cool. And even with that, like I am grateful for those. But yeah, I kind of figured out what I wanted, like my answers, because it was kind of the same thing. How'd you get started on the album, you know? And they're fun to answer because I haven't answered them before. Right. But I could see why, even just to that small degree, it's like, okay, well, there's other things Well, especially since like you're a smaller time creator, you're on these like smaller time like podcasts or shows or whatever. So it's like you're not big enough to have been asked that same question by like 1,000 right.
people, where like anybody can look up like your origin story if you've already been asked it 1,000 times. Versus like if it were Tom Hanks, it's like Tom Hanks doesn't need to tell anybody how he got his start in acting. It's been asked, you can look it up.
Right, exactly.
Especially now in the age of the internet. Maybe back in the day, when there was no internet and you're like on a talk show on the radio, and they're like, well, tell us how you got your start. Well, the only time people that are tuning in have ever heard this story are right now, and if they aren't listening right now, there's no way to hear it again.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But like now, it's like, well, once you've answered a question a few times, it's out there.
Right.
Which is why like something like what I hear all the time from the Hot Ones show on YouTube that they talk about. I can't think of the host's name, the interviewer. I can't think of his name for the life of me.
I know the guy, but
they always compliment him because he comes up with like questions that people don't normally ask.
It's a similar thing, yeah.
So it's like, oh, I really like that question. It's like, or how did you know that about me, or whatever.
Right.
Where it's like, clearly you did your research. You're not just here to do your job to interview somebody. Like, I'm Mr. Interviewer. I've got 5 cookie cutter stamped questions to ask you.
Hot Ones, like I tune in every once in a while. It's not something I religiously watch, but I've always respected as a creator how unique of an idea that was, especially when they first dropped years ago. It's cool, right? They ask unique questions, but also you got the hot wings element and all that stuff, and it's just seeing how everybody reacts differently to those. I don't know. Like I think that's great. It's such a unique spin on just what could be a very standard interview.
Well, you potentially there's that extra layer of an added level of being able to relate to the person that's being interviewed, because you see them eating hot wings, and we've probably all had hot wings before, and we all know our own spice tolerances. So you can either see a little bit of yourself in that like celebrity guest or whatever, or you can maybe just kind of humanize them a little bit, or dehumanize them a little bit when you have some celebrity that eats like a weirdo, and it's like, what are you doing? Just eat the wing.
That's the stuff I love about that, though, when you see these really specific, mundane things that all celebrity, they're all people. We're all people, but when you can kind of get a little glimpse, you know, and you see like their food tastes, right? Those are things you don't usually think about when you think of like an actor or whatever, or a musician. So I always like seeing those little things too. Which is probably what goes back to the podcast bit, where you can actually kind of dig a little deeper and hear some stories maybe they usually wouldn't tell because they have the time. But Merry Christmas, though.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Weston graciously let me into his home, and the first thing I was greeted by was music. Christmas music. And I love Christmas music as soon as it's the day after Thanksgiving. Sometimes the night of Thanksgiving, when all the food is, you know, you've taken your post-Thanksgiving nap, at least that's what I would do, and then you're kind of up again and you're getting your seconds. That's when you start the Christmas music and get up the tree and all that stuff. It's very quick after Thanksgiving for me. It's full Christmas.
Yeah, we get I don't put up the Christmas tree, but we get the Christmas tree down from the attic at my parents' house, and it's out, and then like I don't live there anymore, so usually I assume it's my mom, like, gets it all set up over the course of like the next week or however long it takes her to do. But like we get the Christmas tree down from the attic on Thanksgiving, and then
I just know I asked you I said, when do you put your tree up? He said, my tree's already up.
Yeah.
And then it was like, this little tree on one of your end tables
I've got
there.
a little tree that I actually got from my old boss.
Oh, okay.
That it was just a tiny tree that they kept at the store, and she got a new tree and needed to get rid of the old one. Like, you want this? I'm like, sure. So the Christmas tree I have is just a fake small Christmas tree that I put on my end table at the end of my couch in the living room, and it sits there.
It works.
It's got some lights in it. Sometimes I put ornaments on it. Sometimes I forget.
But it's there, and that's what matters.
Yeah, I think I had I had a bunch of ornaments laid out because I've been given ornaments from my parents or friends or whatever. I've got stuff I can put on the tree. And I think I had them laid out last year and never put them on the tree. Just never did. They just sat on my desk.
Well, you still kind of get the vibe and it's still festive. It's just not on a tree like it traditionally would be, I guess.
You can see this from here, Alex. I've got an ornament right there in my room.
Haven't you had that forever?
No, that was a Christmas gift from my parents last year or 2 years ago.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different... I could have swore I thought you had something like that. I must be combining memories, but in your room when you lived at home. I thought you had something that would hang up on your dresser, because I've been in that room numerous times.
I've probably hung up several things on a dresser or a bookshelf or whatever.
I know with my tree, this is where I'm, you know me, and those of you listening probably know me a little bit from all the stuff I've forgotten I've shared on this podcast. But I'm not a minimalist, but I like things in minimalist ways sometimes. So what I do is I bought a tree a couple years ago, and Steph helped me pick it out because she's got an amazing womanly eye for things and a great touch for things. So it's a skinny tree. I don't like the big fat ones. I'm kind of changing my mind on that now, though. I might end up getting a big fat one soon. But right now it's a skinny tree, just the white lights. I like the white lights better than the colorful lights. And I have ornaments, but my ornaments are clear. Completely clear. If I held it, I could see you, and you could see me.
Okay.
And I hang them up on the tree. And because... And what's cool about it, though, is that it's reflective. So, it looks like there's extra lights all over the tree.
Especially with the white lights.
Because they're just white lights. So, but some people giggle at it when they come by, because it's like, what's the point? Because, it reflects, but it's still...
Do you put, some tinsel on your tree that look like snow? Like a little white tinsel?
The snow has that kind of already on there.
Okay.
So, it was like a pre-lit tree, and it kind of has that look to it.
Yeah.
It's not quite... It doesn't look like snow, but it has a lighter highlight on the tree. I don't know how to describe it. It's green, dark green, but then it's got highlights around.
Okay.
It's hard to explain. It's like a mixture of two colors. And then I do have a little bow thing that I put on the top of the tree. But Steph was giving me so much crap. She's like, of course you like something as simple as that. There's no personality here. That's her argument. I said, no, this is my this is what I want. I love it.
I say minimalism can be a personality.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a thing.
Well, I have... I always say it's tendencies, because then I see what people who actually practice minimalist lifestyles, I don't have that kind of lifestyle. There's just certain things I like that are simple, right?
Right.
And I love it at this time of the year because there's something about it. I don't know if it's just all of our history celebrating Christmas throughout the years, but I love having a tree in the house. It makes you feel warmer. It just gives you that warm feeling. I love it. And I moved it this year, so now it's in the center of my, not dead center, so you have to walk around it, but I find it more centralized location. So if I'm in my studio, because if you remember, my studio is kind of closed off from the rest of the place.
Yeah.
So but if I leave that door open, I can see the tree. So anywhere I'm at in the house, I can see the tree, which I love.
Got it perfectly angled, no matter where you are in the house. Blam, tree, there, visible.
That's what I wanted. So.
Well, I can't do that because I've got 2 floors. So from up here, I cannot see my tree downstairs. I just can't do it. But no, if it makes you feel warm and cozy and holiday spirit, then you should be able to see your tree from everywhere that you possibly can. Don't hide it in the corner where no one can see it. Right.
Because I used to do that. I used to like the idea of having a tree near the window.
Yeah.
Because when you're people can see it walking by if you kind of leave your blinds open just a little bit, right? Or even if you pull in from a work day and it's dark out, and you can see your tree before you walk in.
Yeah.
But I liked it when you first walk in, but then once you pass that area, then you lose sight of it. So I do have a little tree that I sometimes put up and sometimes don't. I don't, because Steph does this. She's super into we both love the holidays, and she's loves to theme trees. So she has and she's got her own apartment now, so she's probably going to get a kitchen tree, and then she's going to have her bedroom tree, and when her and her mom used to decorate every year, and they'd have a kitchen tree, and it was all just kitchen or food-related ornaments. It was actually kind of cute. It's like a medium-sized tree, probably like 4 feet, maybe 5, I think about 4 feet. But anyway, and this little food, like, there's a little pepper, and then like a piece of sushi, and like all this stuff. Not a real piece of sushi. Well, that'd be funny.
So it starts to stink up the kitchen real fast. It's like, man, it's starting to smell in here, but we're only halfway through December, so...
Did you guys ever do... I might have asked you this last year, but did you ever do a real tree growing up? You ever try that?
Yeah, we did a real tree a couple of times. We've had this old fake tree for like ever, but we've growing up as a family, we did a real tree a couple of times. The problem with it, and you've heard this from everybody, the problem with real trees is they make a bit more of a mess. You know, they got needles and stuff. So I think that might be ultimately why my parents stopped getting real trees, but I don't really remember. I was a kid, and I just remember sometimes we had a real tree, sometimes we didn't. The real ones were pokier than the fake one.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But
we had animal issues in our particular case. Not like animals living in the tree, like coming.
We had critters living in our tree.
They just keep coming. There's just like all kinds of critters.
How many squirrels were hiding in here?
How'd this gopher get in here? So what's a gopher doing in a tree? You know, there's more confusion. No, our cat would always, Daisy, shout out to Daisy, rest in peace. Daisy would like climb up that thing and shake things around, and more needles would fall and all that stuff. So we quickly gave up on that. So
I don't remember having it. I don't know if we ever had a real tree when our family dog was still alive or not. I forget when she passed away. I was little. I forget when she passed away, and then we didn't have any family pets after her. So I don't remember having pet problems with the tree, but if we did, I just don't remember.
I've got a completely random pet problem story to share with you, and it's very recent as of now. So currently, as of the time of recording this, I'm staying with my dad, who's just across town. And him and his wife, they own 2 dogs. And we've had that, shout out to our episode about dogs. We talked about dogs at one point and how we kind of hit or miss on how we feel about owning dogs as pets, right?
Pets in general, really.
Right, exactly. Well, this is more proof that my stance has not changed on this. Because I love these dogs. They're sweet. They love me, but they're pretty rowdy. Yeah. And they get loud. As soon as somebody comes in, when as of recording of this, we just came off of Thanksgiving. So family came over, and then, it's a madhouse. Well, one of the dogs, her name's Lily. She's a really sweet dog, very passionate dog. I'm bad with breeds, so I don't even know what kind of dog she is, but she does this thing, like how dogs, like if they're outside, maybe even inside sometimes, they'll like get on their back and they'll kind of scratch themselves, right?
Roll around, rub their backs.
Well, Lily found her spot. Because what she'll do is she will express her pleasure in as many ways as she can, and usually it's audible.
Oh no!
So her voice is low, so it sounds like a grown man. So I woke up. Actually, just this morning, I woke up and I heard. I'm not exaggerating. It's like, there's all kinds of inflection. I thought it was my dad because it's like the same like pitch as my dad's voice. Like if he's like yelling or something, I'm like, what?
You're like, you okay, like, Pops?
Like he might be really okay. I wasn't sure. It's like, God, I'll have what he's having. But anyway, it's like the rooster every morning this weekend I've been staying. And then when you see her, it's like, sorry about that. And she'll just roll on her back, and it just sounds like a grown man moaning. It's hilarious.
Dogs really do be living their best lives.
I do wonder sometimes, like, just the simplicity of a dog's life.
You've got nothing to plan for. You can't make plans as an animal.
I know, it's great.
All you do is pray that you'll be fed that day.
Right.
But,
that just sounds great. It's like, you know what? And this is assuming it's like a well-fed, well-loved dog. It's like, okay, I'm going to eat some food. I'm going to go lay down for a bit. I'm going to go run around for a bit. Let's go run. Okay, I'm going to go lay down again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Whatever. Yeah.
There's a squirrel. Let's go get that squirrel,
Whatever thought crosses your mind, you can just act on immediately.
There's some families who they kind of celebrate, like, pet birthdays, and they'll do, like, Christmas, too, and they'll, like, get them, like, gifts and stuff like that.
Which I think is funny because dogs don't have any sense of calendar. Like, they don't know when it's been their birthday. Like, they don't know when an exact year has passed. They can witness and observe the seasons passing, but they don't know when they don't have a concept of birthday.
That's all for the sake of the owners. Yeah. It makes them feel better, I guess.
I've always wondered if that confuses animals, though, especially dogs, right? Because dogs, they're very particularly, like, they pay attention to their owners and stuff. So, once a year, all of a sudden their owners act especially nice to them. They get all these random gifts, like they don't know why. Like, why don't I get this like every day? What's going on today? Woo! I get toys.
Right. Yeah, they can't have that sense of time to where like they can feel it coming again. I mean, I know dogs can learn from repetition and stuff, but that's so not repetitive. You know, it's once a year. There's no way they're going to catch on to something like that.
But I guess they don't probably ask why. They just
with their dogs.
They just take what they can get. I don't know. The dogs. Why am I getting a toy today? They don't ask why. They're like, oh, toy.
Right. Oh, dogs.
All
right. Well, that's Profoundish.
That's profound. So, Merry Christmas. We don't have any dogs.
Well, before we were officially, I guess, recording. I guess we were recording, but we were just I was asking Weston about his setup, and we were thinking about let's just chop that off. 8 minutes. We're just my boom mic here. I use this to do that. It's like Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, we had 8 minutes of it. I was just recording just to make sure everything was recording properly. We're just sitting here talking about things. I guess we don't need to keep this. Although, maybe I should have kept it. Because what if we set out, like, a Patreon and do some behind-the-scenes bonus content?
Mm-hmm. We should.
Actually, I was going to surprise that with you today. I was going to set one up for you to see. And then I didn't get around to it. It's just been a busy week with the holidays and everything.
Why the hell did you even tell me?
Well, because we're live right now, so by the time people are hearing this, it might very well be up.
I like where this is going.
So it'll either be...
We should talk.
It'll either be patreon.com/profoundish or patreon.com/profoundish pod, whichever one's available.
Yeah, I like that.
Because, like I said, I didn't set it up yet.
Well, I do like this idea, and as a little, I guess this is a great way to kind of tease it, because there are times... This is 100% truth. Weston will back me up on this. Where we have almost full podcast like length,
conversations,
or at least depth conversations, and then we go, "Oh, hey, let's record." There's some good stuff. There have been times where like we've had some good conversations. So if you really like to hear us kind of babble on, that's something to look into. We might show you some behind the scenes chats before we really hit record.
Some behind-the-scenes chats, and then also, if people ask us questions that they want answered, or they have comments or topic ideas, Patreon's the place to go for it.
Look at this guy.
We could have like a weekly or bi-weekly or whatever, answering your questions, reading your comments, that kind of thing.
I love that, yeah.
So, again, that's patreon.com/probably Profoundish.
Yep.
And not literally the word probably, just Profoundish.
Probably Profoundish.
Probably.
I mean, I kind of like that too, though.
That would have been a good alternative podcast name. We're changing the name again.
Right, here we go. Happy New Year. Probably Profoundish. Yeah, I like that idea too. Asking us some questions and and only you could find out what the answers are.
I had that I was really motivated to work on some stuff for Profoundish because I made all those clips that I've been rolling out on the social medias, the TikTok and the Instagram and the Twitter. Mm-hmm. All those clips that we've been I've been meaning to make forever. So I've been working on that.
It's been nice seeing those, yeah.
Okay, we've talked about it a little bit on the podcast, a little bit outside the podcast. We got to get a Patreon set up. We got to get some merch made sooner or later. We'll probably slap that P logo on a coffee mug.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that. If you want a coffee mug with the Profoundish P.
I still think we should do a drywall cert for the diehards who know that episode. But is it weirder than drywall?
But is it weirder than drywall?
Or eating drywall, sorry.
Yeah. Is it weirder than eating dry? Is it weirder or just is it weirder?
I think we should change it at least if it is to just is it. And then I like the idea of there maybe being like an image of like a spectrum, like an arrow this way, an arrow this way,
and drywall in the middle.
Yeah, and then there's just like eating drywall right there. Maybe we can have a couple of other weird things from our list or something maybe. But is it weirder than eating drywall?
Is it weirder than eating drywall?
Because I feel like that would be kind of one of those shirts where like if you're at a party and you're wearing it. And we can put our Profoundish piece somewhere, but then like someone sees it, and that's a conversation starter. I really feel that way.
I really love like any kind of merch, but like shirts or whatever, where you know that that's probably from a thing, but you have no idea what.
Yep.
Like the person that bought it obviously knows, but if I'm just someone and I see someone wearing a shirt, I'm like, I wonder what that's from.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm not good at coming up with those ideas, but I love that where it's like that's probably from a thing. I just don't know what.
Well, I'm all on board, and we're kind of at the right time. We're going to be entering a new year soon.
Yeah.
So it might be, I think it's time, we've been talking about it, I think it's time to kick that into gear and get it going, so.
Yeah, we're into year 2, because our 50th episode was a while ago now, so we're into year 2 of Profoundish. So.
Right, so it's time. So expect that very soon from listening to this.
Very soon. As soon as now.
Perhaps.
Or as late
That's true.
as next year.
Yeah, that's true.
Look forward to that anytime.
I keep forgetting, yeah. Wes and I, actually, I just realized, we're just kind of going off the cuff here. I see you got a candle here. What kind of candle is that?
Oh, this was a gift. I don't even know. It says tree farm, so I don't know if it just smells like tree. Like, I'll open it up. I haven't sniffed this one yet. It kind of smells like some sort of tree and soap situation.
It's nice, though.
Yeah, you want me to light it?
Light it. Why not?
Sunset guava lit right now over there in the corner. I don't know if you've noticed or not.
Oh, I did not notice. I thought it smelled a little bit like a guava, glistening in the sun. I thought it smelled like that.
Glistening guava. Glistening guava is a good name.
You just love alliteration, dude. That's all. That's the only reason, I swear.
I do love alliteration. You are factually correct there.
And I also walked in, because we've talked about this on the show, too, the incense, you've got that going downstairs.
Yeah, I got strawberry going on down there. That's what that is. Strawberry something.
Different smells coming out of every room.
I like nice smelling things lit throughout the house. Like, I actually have those little scent pod thingies that you like stick in the wall and on a cycle sprays out or like warms up scent or whatever. I have several of those. They're all empty right now. I bought some replacements, but I haven't flipped out the refills yet. I just like the place smelling nice. And I don't have a good sense of smell, so I like to have lots of smells,
right,
so that it's more pungent.
That reminds me, I know those things, you talk about they spray, right? It's like every 30 minutes or whatever.
Actually, the ones that I have now are the ones that heat up like an oil, and it just does it passively, but I've done the spray ones before.
I know at one of my old jobs, we worked in a very old building with an old bathroom with no fan, and it was a public bathroom, so, it wouldn't be the nicest smelling bathroom. So we kind of used it as like a Febreze sort of kind of thing. But I remember that thing was so old, and it was not changed enough, like whatever packet you put in there, or whatever you put in there. It wasn't changed enough, and I think just the mechanics in it, whatever made it come out, it sounded kind of sad. Because they've replaced the liquid that's in there, and it would just be like... and it would kind of fade out. It wouldn't just be like a... it was kind of sad.
Yeah, some of those, because I used to have one that I kept, and you could just sit up on like a bookshelf or whatever, and I would have it spray out in the middle of the room. And I think just some of them are more cheaply made than others, where the little motor or whatever it is that pulls the spray just gets worn down after a while because it's running all day. Right. Goes off every hour or whatever. I think they just get worn down.
They used to scare me, too, when I first discovered those, because I think that's when I did discover those, because you'd be in there maybe taking care of business, and then you'd hear this... and you don't know, it's like, where's this coming? Who's in here?
You just pee a little bit more.
That bathroom was weird, too, because I remember, or the mirror placement was weird, because there was a sink with no mirror next to the toilet, but then if you're sitting on the toilet, that's where the mirror is... is the wall opposite of you.
So that when you're sitting down in the toilet, you can watch yourself.
That's exactly where it was. I'm dead serious.
It's not the most flattering placement.
No, it's the least flattering placement. I never understood that, but...
I'm just sitting on the toilet, spread eagle, looking at myself, and I'm like, I don't know if I really need to see this angle of me.
You sit on the toilet, spread eagle, looking at yourself, thinking about all the bad decisions you've made. You know what I mean? Like, how'd I get here?
How did I get here? Specifically here, in this bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
But
what else we got?
I'm trying, was the sink on that side of the wall either, or just the mirror?
All right, so I'm going to turn with you here. So when you walk in, toilet.
Yeah.
Sink.
Okay.
Back up to the toilet again, mirror.
See, that makes so for those of you that obviously couldn't see Alex's gestures.
Yeah, which you did not see, yeah.
Is that you walk into the bathroom, immediately to your right, toilet, and then if you take a step into your right, that's the sink. Mm-hmm. If you walk into the door and immediately to your left, that's the mirror. So why is the mirror not at the sink? Mirrors that aren't at the sink confuse me.
I know. I agree. When we both went to Parkland, I remember in one of the wings, there were... And it was I think most of whatever that wing was, I can't remember which number. Our school was divided up by just lettered wings. And in one of them, it was in the upstairs part. Any bathroom you'd go to, there was no mirrors. And in every single bathroom... where the mirror should be, because it looked like they were just missing, like they were going to replace them, and maybe they were eventually going to. But it said, "You look fine." That's what all of them said. "You look fine." Right. And I kind of took a double thing, like, okay, I mean, I get it. Maybe, it's like, you look fine. But at the same time, what if you look bad?
I assure you, I came in here because I'm disheveled and I need a mirror.
Right. I don't look fine, That was I don't know, so you never saw those. I don't know what
I don't remember seeing
in.
that.
Okay.
But I think when I was going to Parkland, there were just a couple of, like, my usual, like, en route in between, like, certain classes, bathrooms that I would go to, like, every time.
Right.
So it must just not have been those bathrooms.
Right. I know that school in particular has grown a lot since we've been...
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge now.
It's huge now. They've got that, like, student center or whatever, and it's, like, massive.
I remember they were working on that...
After we left, I think.
Right after, yeah. Well, I went back for a year, and they were, like, wrapping it up or they were done with it. And then, yeah, it's huge now. It's crazy. It's a nice school, like a nice-looking school.
Yeah. So. It was a community college. I mean, it probably still is, but I think, at this point, it's big enough. It's just a college.
It's like a college, yeah.
It's just a college.
Right. It's just Parkland College. Tuition is ridiculous. I remember, like, when we went, at least, yeah, because I was curious a few years ago. It was just a lot more compared to what it was when we were going. Because I could...
That's probably everything, though.
Right. Well, sure, yeah. I know, like, my early semesters, because I just paid out of pocket for the most part. And it's like, I did... I don't know, like 4 or 5, about 4 classes a semester, and I'd pay a couple $1,000. That's not including books, right? But if anyone doesn't know, like for tuition, that's cheap as heck. And then, but anyway, but now it's those same, it's like 10, 12, which is still cheaper compared to like a big university. But it's just crazy seeing, it's a lot more than it used to be. And then books, ridiculous too. We got into the Chegg thing. That saved some money.
Sometimes. I know, like, especially if you're looking for used books, sometimes you can still find them used on, like, Amazon cheaper or whatever.
Oh, sure,
just depending on your seller. The trick for me was finding some place that you could get the book cheap enough, but also the shipping cheap enough. Because sometimes you'd find it cheaper, like, on Chegg or something, but then the shipping wasn't cheap enough to, like, get the cheaper book. It's like, well, I'll get the more expensive book because shipping's cheap enough that the whole bill's cheaper. Right.
I remember one thing I did. I don't consider this a hack because there was times where I was lost, but one thing I did... Now, there's some courses or some professors that I had that looked and checked, but most of them didn't. There was a couple times where I got just older editions, which were a lot cheaper. And there's one class, I can't remember what class it was. I think it was my psychology class. And I remember that one was pretty tough to go through because it was completely restructured. Or at least parts were restructured, certain chapters were or whatever. But then there's other times where it's like, okay, there's some wording that's different. Sometimes I'm off a couple pages, but I kind of figured it out, and it's like I can deal with it. But then there were some, I know, like professors that they checked, like, you got to have the right one or whatever. So I'm not saying that's a great hack because it makes it kind of inefficient, but that's what I did.
It's like you said, it just depends on how cheaply you can get the old edition and then what the class is. You're playing a pretty big risk if you get an older edition of a math book in case the questions that you might be doing in them are just wildly different. Right. So you're playing a little bit of a risk there, but like you said, psychology, less of a risk. A lot of the English books, less of a risk there. Right. Stuff like, well, not that I actually had a lot of English books. Most books, if you're taking English, is just literally some novel or something.
Right,
So it just kind of depends on the class a little bit. A lot of your physics stuff, again, as long as the questions are the same. As long as you're not getting like 10 editions old, maybe an edition or 2 or 3 or whatever old is almost exactly the same. The pages are different. It's a racket.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When you're paying $80 or more for a book.
It's crazy. Yeah, and you're only, for a finite amount of time. And then on to the next one. I always liked when I rented books or I got, super used books, meaning just you can tell they've had their love. And it's always cool because sometimes you'll see these little marks and these little notes that you'll see sometimes. It kind of reminded me of, I like seeing that history. That was, for me personally as a student, I was more interested in that than the classes half the time, but that's me. But I remember you saw that too in high school and middle school and stuff. It was always cool to see who had your book before you if you opened up that first cover.
Oh yeah, the cover page.
Because we went to a school, as we've said numerous times on this podcast. We basically knew everybody we went to school with, so you'd know exactly who had this book before you. And especially, sometimes it'd be like your friend's older brother when he was coming through school or whatever, it was cool to see some of that stuff. I don't know why, but I was always...
Well, especially going to a small school and you know the names. That was just kind of, I've got there, but it didn't change the fact that,
not a thing.
The book was the same, but I've got so-and-so's book.
Right. That was always really cool.
I always wondered if people thought the same way, like, because I was always considered one of the smart kids, so I'm like, does anyone ever open up the book, see my name on there, like, oh yes, I've got the smart kids book, maybe that'll rub off on me.
Right, maybe there's a magic in this book.
Maybe.
You never know. Yeah, I wonder if they looked at mine and went, oh wow, I wonder if I will not be motivated to do my homework now, because Alex had this book.
Oh no, he was not a good student. This is a bad omen.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a textbook fortune cookie. You open it up, it's like, well, how's this year gonna be?
Textbook fortune cookie, now that, to me, sounds like some weird alternative band that, like, you'll hear at a local bar and you'll never see them again. But, like, they were okay.
Now playing tonight at 8, textbook fortune cookie.
I like it.
I like that name, too.
Right.
We're taking it.
All right. Write it down.
I'm patenting it. If you guys want it, you have to license it. I'm not even going to use it. You just have to license it.
What a jerk. He's not even going to use it.
I'm not even going to use it. I'm one of those people.
I do think back fondly on those early days when we were going to Parkland. Because at the time, pretty much all of our friend group was going there before we some split off to other schools, such as yourself.
Yeah.
To, like, university. But at the beginning, the first couple of years, we were all there, and we were kind of figuring out life on our own a little bit more, because at that time you were staying with your grandpa in town.
Yeah, for a bit.
Right. I remember you doing that for a while. I still lived at home for a year or so. I think maybe other friends did too, but we were running around in the bigger town, you know, compared to, like, our small town we were from, and we kind of felt like we had more freedom. And there was always, like, these little events that we would go to. Our friend Justin, we've brought up a few times on the show. Shout out to Justin, by the way, because he does listen to the show from time to time.
Shout out to Jay.
Hey, Justin, if you're listening. He the other day he was listening to our Thanksgiving episode, and then I called him about something. And he's like, "Hey, you interrupted yourself." I'm like, how did I interrupt myself? I said, "Oh, I'm listening to your episode." He said, I didn't want to answer the call from you because you were talking about the biggest turkey for, like, the world or whatever that was, you know." And I'm like, oh, you know. But anyway, Justin would always, like, plan out these things. I have a specific memory. I want to know if you remember this, because this is so specific and so non-anything, but meant something to me. There was an event for new students at Schnucks.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember this.
I don't remember what happened there, but there was, like, something for new...
They had, like, stations where you could do, like, a little game. Like, I don't remember, like, a t-shirt bowling or something like that. Like, random little things throughout the grocery store you could do. And they had, like, sales, too, where you could, like, get stuff. Because it was, like, school, like, you know, students welcome back to school type thing.
Right.
And so we were at Schnucks going around doing all these random activities, like getting free stuff.
And I remember at the time, in that moment, I was thinking, like, this is what young adult college life is all about, going to Schnucks.
College is all about... I think one of us got something that was, like, alcohol related too. I don't think it was like a bottle of alcohol. I think it was just like a shirt or something that was alcohol related. And I thought it was funny because, like, we just got to college for, like, the first time, so we're all, like, 18.
None of us are.
So, like, none of us are drinking.
Right.
I don't remember what it was though. I just remember thinking, are we gonna get carded for this?
Right. I know that reminds me of the classic story where we bought the glass somewhere up closer, somewhere in northern Illinois.
You talking about the one that got smashed?
The one that got smashed.
That was outside of Dave & Buster's.
Dave & Buster's. That's right, I remember that. And I can't remember who bought it, but somebody else, I know we blamed another friend.
I think we bought it in a mall, and then we went to, like, Dave & Buster's, and then it was like, don't open the back of the car, because that's where all the glassware is.
And then we opened the back of the car.
Our friend opened the back of the car and smashed that. I think it was your glass.
It might have been.
Somebody's glass, smashed it immediately. It's like, what did we just say?
Did you not listen? Where was that at?
Somewhere up north. Was it up around Chicago area? Or was
closer
it somewhere
to
else?
Chicago. I don't think it was Chicago proper, though, but that was fun.
I don't remember. Well, now's a great time for a quick break, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Unless are we doing like a 3-hour episode today? 5?
Maybe we can do like a middle of the road, just go an hour and a half or so, maybe.
Okay, sounds good to me.
But we can still take a break now.
Oh, yeah, we'll take a break now. Well, that's what I was saying. It's like if we're taking like a 3-hour podcast, then we can wait.
I think we should feel it out and see.
Let's feel it out.
Worst case, if we go a few hours or 3 hours or whatever, we can do another break.
We're deciding this live. You all get to hear this.
We're doing it live!
This would be the Patreon experience.
Yeah.
You're getting a taste of
the Patreon experience. We're really selling them on it.
Really selling. We've got an ad for you that will probably be just literally join the Patreon.
Yep.
Maybe. Yep. We'll see what... Alex puts the ad together.
Right.
We'll see what he remembers.
I'll do that. Yeah, I can do that.
All right, we'll see you on the other side of the flip-flop.
Be good. Hey guys, exciting news. We have just launched our Patreon. So what does that mean for you? Well, for only $1 a month, you'll get exclusive behind-the-scenes content from Weston and I, bonus bite-sized podcast episodes, where you'll get the full, unplugged, and unedited Alex and Weston experience, and lastly, an exclusive Q&A, where you'll have the freedom to ask your burning questions, and we will answer them on the podcast. All for just $1 a month. So, if you want to support the show and get these extra goodies, head on over to patreon.com/Profoundish. We're back. So we got something good here then, you think?
I don't know.
Well, we'll figure it out.
I don't know if it's anything good. We got...
During our break here, we thought, you know what, I came up with the idea, let's just pull up a topic generator. We did this on our 3-hour episode where I had a little too much. I had a lot to drink, actually, not a little too much. And Weston just kind of humored me while I drank a lot.
Well, I was drinking too.
You were. You were drinking too, but I don't think I was drinking faster. I just think I'm a lighter weight than you are. So I was just... I don't know what our pace actually was, because I think
Well, we were remote, so we weren't watching each other drink. So yeah, I don't know how many drinks we each had. Well, I don't remember. I got the same exact beers that you had at my house when you were farther gone than me. Stuff.
The hazy IPA, the Wiseacre.
Yeah, that doesn't take very much, because I remember when we were over at your place drinking, that I had like 3 of them, and I was like, oh crap,
yeah,
we're going over the ledge now. We're going deep.
I went through all 4. And that's why, and for some reason I was fine until about the halfway point. And then as soon as that point, all of a sudden, like, I always make the joke, Weston and I are talking about all kinds of things. And by the end, I'm like, this is why America's the greatest country on earth. You know, I got all patriotic for one reason or another, which is so funny.
Liquored up, and then all of a sudden we're patriotic. That sounds about right.
That does sound very right. But we're doing this topic generator again, and we thought we'd pull up some Christmas-themed ones, because Weston and I tend to... we can go from any number of topics to any other number of topics very quickly. We're
just talking about colleges, but this is the Christmas episode, so we don't really have a Christmas topic generator. But this is a charades. This is a Christmas charades ideas.
Well, we could use it.
And the first thing that came up was Olive, the other reindeer. And Alex was like, "Did you ever see that special?" And I was like, "Yeah." And now we're back.
No, I bet you don't know who played Olive the other reindeer, because it's kind of like a weird obscure special.
I can't say that I do, but I want to take a random guess. I'm going to say it's the same person that played Bart Simpson.
Interesting guess. Somebody who's actually a bigger household name, Drew Barrymore.
Oh, really?
Drew Barrymore played Olive the other reindeer. I don't know if she had any other connection to the... It wasn't even a movie. It was like a TV special, right? I don't think it was ever a movie.
I mean, I think it was movie length, right? Like, I think it was Olive... I'm going to look this up. Olive the Other Reindeer.
Which is such a cute name idea, by the way. I thought that was such a cute idea.
Like, the whole premise was like, this song is about how Olive the Other Reindeer made fun of Rudolph. I didn't make fun of Rudolph. I have to go clear my name.
That's right. And the grand adventure begins.
And the adventure begins. It came out in 1999.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was old.
I thought it was, early 2000s or something.
I thought so, too. It's 45 minutes long, so yeah, it's like just a special. It's like, an hour-long special, but 15 minutes of it are commercials.
It's similar to like the Santa Claus is coming to town or something. I mean, not the same, just same in spirit. It's obviously not the same style, but that... I just recently, shout out to my Christmas medley. Go check that out on Alex Duquette's YouTube channel. But I covered a song from my Christmas medley in here.
Okay.
Because I wanted to give it the love that I think it deserves. Because I don't know how it holds up, but I remember thinking it was kind of fun when I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I did watch this. It might have been as a kid.
Right.
It was the last time I saw it. But I still think about it from time to time when I hear that song.
Me too.
And I'm like, Olive the Other Reindeer.
Because that's a really cute premise. Or just the idea, Olive the Other Reindeer. All right, next. That's all I had for that.
I was like, I don't know if I've got more to say about it. I don't know.
The beauty of this is that we can pull up another one.
Give me another, it says. Everyone Says I Love You. Christmas movies. There's a Christmas movie, I guess, called Everyone Says I Love You.
I don't know any Christmas movies. I mean, I know a lot of Christmas movies. There's a lot of those.
Search for Everyone Says I Love You on Amazon. There's a link.
Well, we're going down some rabbit holes now.
We're going down the rabbit hole. This one came from 1997, and it's rated R.
Oh.
So that was we would have been a little on the young side to be seeing this one. I think it looks like it might have some sexy times in it.
And it's called Everyone Says I Love You.
Yeah, a New York girl sets her father up with a beautiful woman in a troubled marriage while her stepsisters get engaged.
We'll report back on this movie, folks.
We can watch it free with ads on Freevee.
We should on Patreon. Here's what we're gonna do, everybody. Okay, Weston, you need to bookmark this Amazon link or wherever you're on, because we could do like a Patreon like watch party or something, or we'll figure that out somehow.
We could do.
That would be funny.
So again, patreon.com/Profoundish. The whole Christmas episode is a massive advertisement.
I mean, that sounds completely accurate. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, what's more commercialized than Christmas time, right? You know?
Well, honestly, yeah.
Well,
what
actually,
is?
Pretty much every holiday, I guess. Like Valentine's Day is entirely commercial.
Yeah. They all are, really. Easter, any of them.
Easter. Thanksgiving itself doesn't feel like it is because it all gets like lumped into Black Friday, which is immediately after Thanksgiving.
Right,
so Thanksgiving just dodges the bullet somehow by itself.
I'd say, not to get off our Christmas topic, but I think the least would probably be, well, I'm thinking about fireworks. But I think about 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July isn't super commercialized around here because fireworks are illegal to buy.
True.
But we all know where you can get
Right. We're not too far from the border here, a bordering state, so we'll just swing on over there.
You just, in the border, it's funny, when you go from the border from Illinois over to like Indiana, it's like right on the border, all these fireworks stores, because they know.
They know exactly what,
They know exactly what they're selling to. And it's not illegal to bring the fireworks over, it's just illegal to buy them here.
Right, so whatever.
You go across the border, buy them, bring them back.
Yeah. We've told that on Profoundish before, but we have a couple fun stories from fireworks, But yeah, I'm not familiar with Everybody Says I Love You or whatever that is.
We might have to watch to have a saucy let's watch.
I like it.
Give me another charades. The Little Drummer Boy.
I have more to say about the song than the special.
Because isn't it like one of your more favorite songs?
Versions of it, not the original.
Okay.
But I do like Little Drummer Boy. I've covered that before. Just like I used to do Christmas songs for my family. Like I'd record them, then my family would listen to them. I never put them out. If we get 10 followers on Patreon, 10 supporters on Patreon, I'll put out one of my old, and I'm serious, I'll put up my Little Drummer Boy cover.
We need 10. We're counting.
10's not bad.
9's not good enough.
No, and 11's too much.
11's too many. We'll have to start kicking people out. Very exclusive.
Now, we'll start at the special, because I'm curious. Have you seen the special?
Like the animated one, yeah.
The little boy.
It's been so long ago, but yeah, I have.
I never saw that.
Really?
But I think that's what the original song is from. I always thought that version was kind of annoying. It was just so high pitched to me, and I just didn't like it.
You think it just went on for too long?
Yes, and it didn't go anywhere. It was just the whole time. There was no real dynamics.
It is pretty repetitive, I suppose.
Yeah.
Exactly, dynamics. It stays high. And it starts high and stays high. You know, that's. I guess you're right. It doesn't do anything super interesting, but it definitely does just the. I feel like it does the job in terms of being like a background song. Like it's something that you just have playing. You're not really paying attention to it.
Even the original one, if I have my Christmas playlist going, and I got multiple playlists with different kinds of Christmas music, but that one is on almost all of my playlists just because it's such a classic song. But I never skip it. But it's never one I'm like going, oh yeah, But other versions are really good, more modern ones. It's
definitely the song that I would skip that if it's on like a playlist and I hear Drummer Boy and then like a couple other songs and then another version of Drummer Boy comes on. I'm like, I don't need to hear another Drummer Boy.
Yeah.
Already.
Right.
It's one of the weaker ones, I guess.
I also think it's one of the weaker specials because those are all the Rankin I can't remember if it's Rankin or Rankin Bass, but like those specials, you'll know it as soon as you type it in if you're.
Rankin Bass, yeah.
Is there an N? Okay.
Yeah, Rankin Bass.
So all the specials that we grew up watching, like those CBS specials, Little Drummer Boy was one of them. And I feel like nobody really talks about that one.
I'm looking at the cover image for it, and it's actually taken me way back.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tilt
I see it, yeah.
You see a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not.
No, you're good. I see it. I remember, maybe I've seen it before, and I just remember thinking it seemed really kind of drab and sad. And
the funny thing is, I don't remember a lot about it because I think it was one of those shows where, not a lot that I can remember, not a lot visually happens. It's just the story, and then you've got this kid walking from place to place.
Right.
Which, to be fair, is a lot of kids shows. It's just kids walking or running and showing up places. Yeah. That's kid shows. And I talk to Wiley about this all the time. It's like, we know this show's too childish if it's just kids running and showing up places. And
that's true.
Things happen around them. They don't do anything.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I know the kid plays his drum probably more than once, but he doesn't do anything else.
Right. That is a fair point.
He doesn't save the day. He doesn't vanquish evil. He just shows up.
He plays his drums. Or his drum.
Pa-ra-pa-pum-pum.
Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum.
Give me another one. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, here comes Santa Claus. 4 words, Christmas carols.
Christmas carols.
Yeah.
All right. I've caroled before. We talked about this briefly last year.
We talked about this before. Mm-hmm. I have not caroled.
That's actually when I told the very disturbing story about the lady who was front row listening to us in the nursing home, and she all I'm going to say, she had her hands in her pants, and it was kind of strange. Go back and listen to that story, everybody. Last Christmas episode. You can't miss it.
Last Christmas I gave you my heart.
And my hand was in my pants, and you took it away. What would you do? Did I ask you this already? Maybe I might have asked somebody else this recently. But if there were carolers...
Yeah.
That came to your door. We did talk about this.
Talked about
it was you. It was you. Yeah. It's like, I don't even know if I'd answer the door.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, and where does it happen? Because I feel like I know that I did it, but we did it through our school. And it was like our choir, like our swing choir. We'd go around our little town and we'd go to businesses. We'd go to like the dentist office and they requested ahead of time, like, hey, we're the kids from the school, we're going to be caroling. Would you like us to go? And we went to those places. In the movies, you always see it as this, they randomly show up at your door in the neighborhood and they start singing and it's snowing outside.
That wouldn't be safe anymore. Like, you just can't. You'd have to request that ahead of time, or it'd have to be like certain people that would appreciate it because they've done it in the past or something. And it has to be a school group or a church group. You can't just get a bunch of guys together. Like, your a cappella group. Yeah. And it's like, we got 4 guys. We're just going to go door to door.
Right.
No.
Well, I feel like now, too, especially just in like, I feel like in a lot of these neighborhoods, like I just feel like there'd be some like HOA policy that's like against it. Like there'd be, you know what I mean? Like
I want like a group of carolers that like jump over gated communities, like sneak in and just start like instead of ding dong ditch, it's just ding dong carol and run.
It's like stealth caroling. I love it. I love that idea.
Because at least that way, if you're in like a gated community or something, you're probably not gonna like ding dong the door and someone's gonna show up with a shotgun in their hand.
Right.
Because they're not expecting anyone.
I just like the idea too, because it's not like, because plenty of neighborhoods are like no soliciting,
right.
no none of that, no door to door crap. What are you doing when you're caroling? Because like you're not soliciting. I mean, you're not trying to sell something, but
just being a public nuisance.
But you're being right. But you could be like disturbing the peace, maybe, or whatever. But I just think that's such a weird kind of gray area. But
I think the best way to do caroling, honestly, if you're going to do like surprise visits, like if you're going to go into a neighborhood, is just to be like in this like street or a cul-de-sac or something where it's like, we're just going to be out in the middle of the public singing. You can come out of your house and listen if you hear us.
But that's for me. I don't know, this might be where you and I differ, but if I saw that was in my neighborhood, like this down the street, I'd feel bad. So I'd go out there just because I feel bad.
Well, but that's bad. So, like, you're going to feel awkward if they show up to your door, knock on your door, and you open the door and it's like, I don't want to listen to this, and close the door on
that's even worse.
You would feel worse. At least this time, it's like, okay, you have the choice. They don't know that you're home. They didn't knock on your door.
That's
you
true.
don't have to go out.
That's true.
But you can.
But you can.
I feel like it's more successful that way.
But then, like, it's almost worse, though, if you still pursue them. So, like, than the first scenario. So if I go out there, right, I go 2 blocks down in my neighborhood and I see them and I'm watching them in this little park area. I'm like, say I'm the only guy. You know how bad it would be?
Better yet, you go grab, like, a little folding chair, like a camp chair, and you just... squat down, like just sit right in full view of them.
I love the idea of this would be funny though. Like, what if you go out there, you got your chair, maybe it's like you got like a little like, hot chocolate, you got some food, maybe like it's kind of like almost like a little winter picnic, and you're watching, you settle in, and then like 2 songs in, you pack up everything and then you leave.
Well, I'm done. You started playing Drummer Boy. I'm out.
Right. That's kind of a similar thing with like shows. Like when's the most polite time to leave a show early? granted, the most polite time to leave a show would not be to be early. But if you're going to leave a performance or production, is it while people are clapping and it's kind of loud and then kind of sneak out? Is it mid-song so like they don't notice on stage because they're busy doing their thing?
If it's for polite, it's got to be in between things.
That's what I would think.
In between scenes, if it's like a play, or in between like songs, if, something like you said, if people are clapping, or if there's like a transition from one thing to another, that's the time to do it, because then you're not disturbing the people that are watching as well.
Right.
Because the people on like stage or the performers or whatever, they're probably not paying that close attention to the audience because they got their own thing going on. So you're not too worried about disturbing them.
Right.
But like, you don't want to make it awkward for everyone else. Like, I'm trying to sing. Get down in front. What are you doing? Get back down. Yeah. You can't leave.
That would be so uncomfortable. It's like, or even worse, it's like they're singing their song and they're like, wait, are you leaving? Are you going?
Well, because you see that like clips of like comedians when someone like leaves a comedian show early for like the bathroom or whatever, and a comedian will like call them out.
Yeah.
But you're never gonna have like a random musician mid-song just stop, dead song.
Are you
like,
leaving?
like,
is it something I did?
Santa Claus, here comes. Where are you going?
Yeah, here comes Santa Claus. Wait, where's he going? He's not coming. He's going.
There goes my listeners. There go my listeners. Right out the door.
Oh my gosh. That actually, when you talk about kind of like a show or whatever, that reminds me. I did do a Christmas show one year. This wasn't for school. This is community theater. It's still in our hometown. It was White Christmas, like the movie, or like not the movie, the play White Christmas, but it's got the classic Bing Crosby White Christmas. And do you know We've Got Our Love to Keep Us Warm? You know that song? Or I've got my love to keep me warm. That song is in there.
Yeah, I think I know that one.
It's like a much lesser known than White Christmas, obviously. Yeah. But that was a really fun show. And I do recommend anybody to watch the Bing Crosby musical version of White Christmas. It's a classic in my house now. Mainly because I did the musical and I learned how great of a show it was. That was super fun. Totally random, but anyway, there's some good music in there. I have another story, though, about leaving or entering a show, which was, this is very quick. This is not Christmas related, but it's funny, and you'll especially find it funny, because Kevin's involved. Now, he wears big boots. He's got, like, 15 size shoes,
big
right?
Old boots.
Right, so it's like you can hear him walking a mile away, right? No spurs, but it almost sounds like there's spurs on.
Gotta put some spurs on.
Right. But he always wears boots. And I remember this was one of the high school shows. And it was intermission. And intermission was wrapping up. In fact, it was lights were down again. And the music was playing. You know, those last... Sorry, this sparkling water I'm drinking is about to come up.
It's going to make you gassy.
Yeah, it already has. There it is. But anyway, so right when the show intermission's over, we don't come right on stage, right? There's like that minute or two of kind of like overture music that kind of comes back, and then we get on stage. Well, there's a 10 to 15 second period once the music stops and the curtains open, and then the show starts again. Well, he must have been the last in line to get the popcorn or for whatever, right? And I'll never forget, because no one sounds like he does when he walks. And I knew it was him, and I couldn't see anything because I was behind stage, but I was going to be on stage as soon as the curtains opened up. I knew it, and the curtains were still closed. The music stopped, and all I heard in an echoing gym. This is in a big gym. It's not sound-proof, right? It's not treated for sound. It's a gym for basketball primarily. And all you hear is echoing throughout the entire gym. The music got quiet. He sits in the chair like, God, that's my stepdad. And we still joke about that now, just because I just knew it was him. And then later on, I asked once the show was over. He was like, "Yeah, that was me. I'm sorry."
Like, yep, that was me. I could hear it too.
That was me. Yeah. It's like, did you hear that? It's like Elf. Like, did you hear that? So, yeah, I heard it. Yeah. Anyway.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I got nothing to add.
I just knew, like, oh, that's my stepdad.
That's pretty. It's like, yep, that's him. I imagine you're like in the back, like, leaning over to whoever's standing next to you. That's my stepdad.
I'm sure I did at the time. Yeah, it's like, yeah,
I know who that is.
Right, that's Big Daddy. Yeah.
I got another one. Christmas bonus. This is Christmas words.
Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charades up. Christmas bonus.
I like this. Okay.
You ever get a Christmas bonus?
Yes. Off and on throughout my various jobs.
Yeah.
I remember my first Christmas bonus was when I worked at a Pizza Hut. You probably recall when I was doing that. That Pizza Hut now doesn't even exist now.
No, it's actually a Mexican restaurant.
You've been there, right?
I have.
By the way, is it okay?
It's okay. It's whatever.
Okay. Anyway, so when it was a Pizza Hut, when we called it the Hut, and I remember this was my first year as like, this is when I was quote unquote working my way up in the ranks. So I was like shift manager, like, you know, a little bit into it. And no, I think this is when I was assistant manager. This might have been later on when I was assistant manager. And this is one of those situations, and you definitely understand this because you have worked your way through, in the food industry, like, you know, in that sort of environment. Sometimes you're working skeleton crews and it's stressful and you're wearing a lot of hats that maybe usually wouldn't wear. Right. And I was doing that at the time. There was a time where I was acting manager because we had no manager at all, and I was just and I wasn't getting paid as one, right? I was just doing all what a manager would do because we had nobody. We had a last minute quitter, and then they were gone. So it's just me and a shift manager and then a few employees. It was pretty rough for a while. But I remember our district manager was always kind of a butt to a lot of people, but he really respected me. And him and I had a good rapport. And yeah, I got my first Christmas bonus from him, and I didn't think that wasn't common. I think up until like you're a manager, like the store manager. But I think because I was acting manager through the holidays that year, I don't know what it was. It wasn't much, but it was just cool that I was thought of and I felt valued. That was the first time I ever felt thanked and valued at a job. Was through that. And I know it's money, but it was more the thought behind it, like, because that wasn't required, right? And the fact that it happened was really cool. So
yeah, it's like even when it's something that you know, like, you're not the only one getting, which maybe you were or weren't, but like even if you know like other people are getting bonuses or whatever, you just kind of know like, oh well, like you said, you're not owed this. You don't. Nothing in the contract says yes, you will get a Christmas bonus. So it's kind of nice where it's like, okay, this is like gas for a week, or maybe you even get a thing. Like, actually, you can see that blanket was a gift. From my boss.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got a blanket, you know, whatever. So if you get a gift, or if you get like a little, like some money or whatever you get, it's just a little something that like they're either thinking of you, or that they appreciate you, or that they just, you know, that they even bothered to in the first place. I don't know. It's just kind of nice.
That could be a rarity in some work environments, so that's nice. So what about you? I'm assuming it sounds like you got this blanket.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah, I've had Christmas bonuses before where it's just like, you know, I don't even remember if the money ones. I don't remember how much I got, or I've gotten like gift cards before or whatever. So because I've been doing my thing for years, so
for that alone you should be getting bonuses. That's a long time.
I've been doing this a long time, but,
right.
Yeah, Christmas bonuses. I don't know what more to say about them other than that's a thing a lot of people do and get, and it's nice.
It is nice. I've been in environments where, not in that environment, but the next environment I worked in. This was beginning of the retail, depressing years of my life, and I remember there would be. People would start to talk, and people would talk, what'd you get, right?
Yeah.
And that's where it always gets ugly, just like with anything, right? When you ask about, you know, in general, like the rule of thumb is don't talk to people about what they make, especially in the work environment. That's the last place you want to do it, because it's going to cause conflict. And that's exactly what it was. Like these people were equals, but bonuses equals in terms of their position at work.
Yeah.
But bonuses were varied, and I believe that had to do with because it was commission-based job. So there was,
because that's what I was going to say. Like, since that job was commission-based, was it probably like, well, yeah, you had more sales though, so you got a bigger bonus. I can't remember, but I remember across the room we were all in one kind of small room. This is when I worked out of the mall. I just remember there was some button heads,
headbutting a little bit about like, wait a second, it's like this is why you don't talk about it. You take, you know what I mean? This is exactly why. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it, but.
Because that's something a lot of people, I've seen this before, where you'll have folks say, well, you should talk about what you make so that you can demand more, or you can confront your bosses, or whatever. Like, there's that conversation where it's like, well, your employer shouldn't tell you not to talk about what you make, because then how do you know if you're getting screwed over or not, basically?
That's a fair point.
But then there is the other side of that, where it's like, well, also, if you start talking about what you make, situation like a bonus, it's like, well, now you think that I'm playing favoritism, but it's based off this stat. Or some people have been here longer, so they qualify for this, that, or the other. Or, like, you know, it can be just really awkward, too.
And that matters. I think that boils back down to, let's be adults here. Right. Let's be adults here, right? If maybe, because to that first point you made, which I didn't actually think about before, you could be getting screwed over, and that's a great way to be educated on that and learn, and then maybe pursue that and figure that out. But just because, Joe Schmo's making more than you and maybe he shouldn't be, or you're making less than you think you should be, doesn't mean that's not his fault.
Yeah, the part where that gets worse is like, okay, well, I found out that Joe Schmo makes more than me, and then now I'm mad at Joe Schmo. It's not Joe Schmo's fault. So that becomes a conversation you have with your boss.
Right.
Although I think that's usually more like if you're like looking at salary or hourly. If you're looking at bonuses, it's like just be happy you got whatever bonus you got because it's a bonus. It's extra.
Right, yeah.
Because that's a different problem if you're like relying on, I'm expecting a $200 bonus or whatever to pay for like gifts or something, and then you get like $50 or something. Like if you're expecting a bonus, that's on you.
Exactly, yeah.
But that's Christmas bonuses.
These are kind of unique. This is good. I like this. I didn't expect we'd be talking about that. It's cool.
Wow, how about this one? Going sledding.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Christmas actions category.
I like how you're giving the category stuff too.
Two words.
We're not doing the... Okay, 2 words. How many syllables?
Going sledding. 4.
What actually is kind of funny, because Weston and I have a very rich history of charades. And I'm hoping in one day, sometime soon, we can get at least a group of the guys together again and have a few drinks and do some charades again. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we that used to be one of our mainstays. We'd get the guys together and we'd be over at probably Justin's basement.
Mainly, yep.
And we'd all be playing charades, and we'd split into 2 teams. Whatever team I was on, never lost.
Whatever team I was on, because I was hardly ever on your team.
So that means you always lost.
I always lost. That's what I was about to say. I was almost always on the losing team. And it's like, whose fault is this? It's like, I'm sure I was the common denominator, but I loved it. And we got kind of competitive. We all have the classic Justin story that we'll keep private, but that was such a funny story. So what was the actual thing? Sledding?
Going sledding.
Always have loved sledding. I don't so much as an adult, but I remember up until my teen years, even maybe a little more into that, we used to go out to Lake of the Woods a lot. That was usually our go-to place. And then, because, we're from Central Illinois, which is basically just kind of flat across the board. And I remember it's so flat where we're from that in our town that we grew up in, some kids would go to the golf course because the golf course in town had a little bit of hills. Like, I remember seeing it. No, they ended up kicking them out.
They probably weren't allowed to do that.
No, they weren't. But we saw that. And I think we almost did it one year. And it's like, why don't we just leave town 30 minutes away to where I was just talking about, Lake of the Woods, and there's actually some good kind of steep areas you can go into. And we'd set up like little like ramps. So like you'd... No, that ended up causing some injuries, but it was super fun still.
Yeah.
By the way, not my idea. That was the adult's idea. That was my dad's idea.
We'll make a ramp. I don't know if I've ever ramped sledding. Gone on a ramp.
We were intense. And we just got the cheap circle ones. We had the longer sleds too, but... and just... And then I remember my dad did it first to test it out. No, I don't think he did it first to test it out, but... anyway, he ended up getting injured the most, which is the best part. And he had this goose egg. I don't know if you want to call it a goose egg, but
right on his tailbone.
Right on his tailbone. You could almost balance a cup on that thing. That's how far it was.
No.
It was sticking out bad. Like you could see it through his pants. But
well, that's my hump now.
Have you ever used a real, not real, but have you ever used like a traditional wood sled before?
Used one? I don't think so. I've seen them, but they're almost always decorative. Like if you've got some sort of Christmas setup somewhere or for a parade or something. I don't know if I've ever ridden a wooden with like metal sled things or whatever.
It makes economic sense, I guess, to make just those plastic sleds because they serve the same purpose.
If you break that, one, they're safer, the plastic ones. If you smash through the wood on a wood sled or whatever, it splinters and whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're heavier typically. The plastic ones, they're way more durable. If they kind of get beat up, then you just get rid of them, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But no, I've never used one of the wood ones. But we had the long ones, like you mentioned. We didn't have the round ones. We had the longer ones.
Where you kind of sit upright for the most part, right?
Yeah,
your
you
legs
sit
would go
upright or just kind of lean back or whatever, and you just, kind of like a torpedo or whatever. Yeah. And what we did is if we didn't go down hills, is that my dad would tie up our sleds to the back of his truck and drag us to the country roads. Which is funny because at the time, it's that was a lot of fun. It made sense. But in hindsight, it's I don't know if that's the safest idea.
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
It's probably not the greatest. Again, it was country roads and no traffic or it was no one ever got hurt. I think there was once or twice someone fell out of a sled, but we weren't going fast either. You're going 10 miles an hour.
We used to
whatever.
I forgot because I already knew that story because we talked about it before. But I remember, I think we did it a time or two with a snowmobile. I remember that. We had one for a while, or maybe I think maybe we borrowed it from a neighbor. I don't know why we really had it. Didn't really need it, but we had one. And I remember we used, and it scared me.
Yeah.
Because I was used to, I don't know why, I don't think I was fearing losing a limb or something, but I remember just thinking, this isn't right. Something about it doesn't seem right. But yeah, we had a lot of fun sledding downhill. Just the problem is that where we're from, you're kind of limited on, like you said, that was kind of almost a necessity. It's like we don't really have hills. So,
not really. We had one really big hill. It was literally a sledding hill in Weldon Springs campground.
Oh, yeah.
That we would frequent, usually when we would go camping in the summer or whatever. But we went there once or twice or whatever for winter and actually went down its hill. And it's a sledding hill, so it's a really long hill to go down. And it's a pretty wide hill, but on either side, because this is, in a campground, are a bunch of trees and forest or whatever. Right. I remember my brother careening into the woods on one of his runs, just straight into the woods.
Never to see him again.
Which is funny because they'll argue over it. It's like my dad, who was supposed to be in charge of pushing him, he's like, well, why'd you steer into the woods? And he's like, well, why'd you push me into the woods?
Right. I love it. Is that still brought up from time to time?
Yeah, I think it was brought up last Christmas.
That's hilarious. It's just one of those family arguments. I love it.
And I'm in the middle of the hill, not even close to trees, just having a grand old time.
See, it would have been nice. I don't think I've ever experienced kind of a more dedicated hill for it. Like I said, when I mentioned Lake of the Woods, that wasn't meant for it, but people did it there.
Yeah.
And the particular one I'm thinking of is right when you turn in, and then there's a big slope, and there's a pavilion at the bottom of that slope, which is gone, by the way. The pavilion's gone now.
Is that?
So now it's probably even safer. But at the time, we would always either kind of get close to hitting the edge of that, or maybe it's not any safer, because I'm pretty sure it steeps down really low after that. I just remember we always kind of would hit trees, but nothing too hard. We just kind of bump into them and whatever. But
yeah, because it wasn't made for sledding. But also because it wasn't made for sledding, it wasn't that long of a hill, so you weren't picking up any crazy speed or anything.
Because it was really a big slope, and then there was a lot of flat after the slope, so you kind of had time to slow down and kind of maneuver yourself and fall off if you needed to. Or
that was what was really fun about the sledding hill, is that it was longer, so you had some time to pick up some speed. And it was just a lot of fun. And then there was plenty of space when you got to the bottom. You weren't going to crash into anything. Right. The bummer was now I have to walk back up to the top.
Oh, that's always the worst part.
And it's oh.
It's always kind of I don't know, but I guess that's kind of what there's a name, there's a word for it. I'm drawing.
Anticipation of the next run.
I guess that's part of it. It's there has to be a cost to the, you know what I'm trying to say, in that, to the pleasure or to the fun. So, you go down, that's the fun part. It's okay, well, this is part of it. Got to go back up and to do it again. But yeah, I like the anticipation better. I like that.
You know what they say? What goes down must come back up.
That's true. Unless you just go through the woods and never come back.
Well, we don't talk about them. We don't talk about the lost children of Weldon Springs.
That is something. Legit. The Lost Children of Weldon Springs.
That's a title, right?
That's
there.
A real title, jokes aside.
That could just literally be my story that I read last October.
Yeah?
Because it's about children in the woods.
If you don't mind changing some names around, yeah, you could do that.
I could just not change the name around. What's going to happen?
No one's stopping you.
I was like, what, is Weldon Springs going to come after me? The state of Illinois. It's that's a state park. You can't use our name. I'm like, it's public property. I pay taxes.
That's right. I could hear that conversation happening.
Well, I'll consider that the Lost Children of Weldon.
That's a good name.
Because part of it, too, because there's a spring in that story that I wrote for October. Because a part of it is that's where I went camping. So that's kind of what I had in mind when I wrote it. Just because that's my camping experience. Right. Not that I was this is Weldon. That's just, what I'm used to. It's there's a marina and a spring.
Your inspiration from it, yeah.
It's my inspiration. So I could, instead of it could be Meldon.
Meldon Springs.
Meldon Springs.
But it doesn't have the same ring.
It doesn't. Weldon
Springs. Keep it.
I like it. I'm stealing it. It's mine. It's just an actual place. I can use it.
Yeah, who cares?
I'll ask my lawyer.
Yeah.
Can I do this? Is this legal?
I at the end of all that, whatever, it's fine. I pay my taxes. I'll ask my lawyer.
Classic one. Our next one, 2 words. Christmas words. Christmas tree.
We kind of already talked about that a little bit.
Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree.
Oh. You know what the next line is?
I really have to pee.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Okay. It's how lovely are your branches? How lovely are your branches?
Oh, that is true. But branches doesn't rhyme with tree, though.
Doesn't have to rhyme. Who says it has to rhyme, Weston?
Me.
Oh, crap, you're right. It does have to rhyme.
I don't remember what it's. Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. What's after that?
I remember the melody. Da 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 da. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. I think it repeats that.
Because I think what I always used to... I'm looking at the lyrics now. What I always wanted to say was how... like, pretty are thee or something. You know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to make it...
Make it rhyme.
I always wanted to make it rhyme.
Am I right with the branches?
Oh Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty.
What? There's branches, I swear to...
Your branches green in summer's glow. Do we not even know this song, or is this just a different version? Because I'm seeing, oh Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter's snow.
I could have swear one of them was... I mean, these are such traditional songs. There's probably lots of versions. Because there's like, oh, Tannenbaum.
Yeah.
Or Tannenbaum. Like...
What is unusual about the German Christmas song "O Tannenbaum" is what's under people also asked. The word Tannenbaum
let's get into
is German for a fir tree, and "O Tannenbaum" was originally a German folk song whose lyrics lacked any specific reference to the Christ child. Rather, it used the evergreen fir tree as a symbol for faithfulness and endurance.
Huh.
Which I could see that. Fir tree, evergreen tree, endurance, survives the winter. I could see that.
Yeah, that checks out, yeah. Okay.
And, the Germans famously have nothing to do with Christmas.
Right.
Or I guess, the Christ child.
Right.
Because it's like, I don't remember how that goes, because people talk about, like, oh, yeah, Christmas was originally, like, a pagan holiday that came from Germany, and then, like, Christians, like, took it over or something. I don't remember the full history of that.
It's something like, I know it's similar to that. I do know that I thought the tree bit is a German thing originally.
I think so.
And we just kind of adapted that for one reason or another over the years. But yeah, that had nothing to do with the tree part. That's the thing. It seems like for a few holidays that, like traditional Christian holidays, they just pulled various traditions to kind of cover up the pagan origins or whatever, or the secular origins to make them, I guess, more Christian or whatever. But
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had the words completely wrong then. I had no idea.
I'm not going to listen to the song to decide.
I swear.
I'm not going to listen to it to see if it sounds right.
I like it.
Although the splendid beauty does rhyme with tree.
I could have swore how lovely are your branches.
How lovely are your branches. See, I don't know. I just wanted to rhyme with tree.
I get it. I would if I didn't have it ingrained in my head for some reason as branches, but...
Everyone at home, how did you first hear "Oh Christmas Tree"?
Right.
What are the words? Make them up. Tell us about it.
Let us know. We'll respond to it on Patreon.
Let it snow.
Let it snow.
Let it snow.
So stupid. Let it snow. We'll be here. Let it snow.
Next charade one. Mickey's Christmas Carol. 3 words. Christmas movies.
I don't really know anything about that.
You didn't ever see Mickey's Christmas Carol?
No, I wasn't huge on the Disney stuff as a kid. I did like some Disney things, but I didn't watch a lot of Mickey stuff, other than maybe like Fantasia or whatever it's called.
You can watch it from Amazon for $4.
Let's see if it looks familiar.
Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and all their pals star in an all-time Christmas classic. Ebenezer Scrooge is far too greedy to understand it's just the Christmas Carol, but it's Mickey characters.
83.
Came out in 1983. I've seen this a couple of times because it would play around, Christmas time on, like Disney or whatever.
Yeah, I don't recall this.
I said Disney or whatever. No, they used to play it on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that's right. Do you have any specific memories or stories about it?
I feel like, and I might be wrong, I feel like it's what actually introduced me to Christmas Carol to begin with. Like, I knew Mickey's Christmas Carol, I think, before I knew A Christmas Carol. Mm-hmm. I could be misremembering that, but it came out before I was born, so who knows.
Do you like Christmas Carol as a story? Do you like the story?
The story of A Christmas Carol is kind of a funny one, right? We're going... I'm trying to think. So the story... Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, rich and crabby, doesn't share, doesn't have the Christmas spirit or whatever. And then you have these, ghosts that, come and show him, oh, well, you used to not be a dick.
Right.
What happened?
Right.
By the way, one day you'll die.
Right. If you stay a dick, here's what it's going to be like.
And you'll be all alone, which is just, I don't know, it's funny because it's, I don't know. like it's a good story.
I'm just curious where you're going.
Story. I'm not really going anywhere. It's a good story, but it's funny to me. I think the thing that makes it the most funny to me is that it shouldn't be a shock to Ebenezer Scrooge that he's like a cranky old man, and it takes him like looking at his own tombstone, like one day I'll be dead, to be like, oh. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Right. I'm not immortal. Okay.
I'm not immortal. I guess I'm going to go crash my employee's Christmas dinner with his family and be a good guy from now on.
Right. Well, here's where I thought you were going to go, and I haven't thought about this till just now, but I was thinking about it's one of the most, at least in terms of like media, movies and stuff and TV shows, I would assume it's one of the most retold and covered Christmas stories.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because I guess now it's I know it's a classic story, but why is it retold so often? Because
I think it's because it's out of copyright, so anyone can do anything they want with it.
Well, sure, but
and it's a famous Christmas one, so everyone's like, well, we have to have a Christmas version.
But it's like, you know what's going to happen. Like I know exactly what's going to happen.
But that's the thing, you can do it with different familiar characters. So like the Mickeys, so it's like, well, yeah, everyone's heard of Christmas Carol, but this one's with Mickey Mouse characters. Because I also saw the from the movies All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I remember that.
They have a Christmas Carol special of the All Dogs Go to Heaven characters doing Christmas Carol, and I've seen that one a few times.
I kind of watched that just because I loved All Dogs Go to Heaven back in the day.
It's so awkward because it's like it doesn't feel canonical at all because all the characters, like this is just so out of left field for all the characters.
You ever seen Scrooged?
I did not.
Bill Murray?
I don't think so.
It's kind of a weird, more cynical spin because it's Bill Murray. This is, I think, in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's been years since I've seen that. But anyway.
Scrooged. Bill Murray. I wrote Bill Murray. Bill Murray.
I don't remember much about it now.
1988, which was actually not too far off from...
That's a few years off.
From the Mickey's Christmas Carol. You know, every time I see Bill Murray's face, though, it's actually the movie I think of first when I see Bill Murray's face is Osmosis Jones. For the live-action bits where he's...
That is hilarious. That was
eating eggs and fried chicken in the most gross way
Oh, yeah,
possible.
doesn't he, like, have to... Like, he starts to choke, and then, like, he needs to... Remember, then, like, he spits them out or something?
Yeah, I think he chokes on a chicken bone eating his chicken. And there's also one where he just, like, straight, like, sneezes in a girl's face or something like that. Like, he's just the grossest guy.
Yeah. I remember there being really gross stuff on his face and stuff, like when he was eating his food and all that.
But I'm trying to find... Come on, where's the... I don't know. I don't want the cat. Oh, storyline. Francis Xavier Cross is a cynical, mean-spirited television executive. He treats his loyal assistant with contempt. He just sacked a member of staff on Christmas Eve for simply disagreeing with him. And he's alienated himself from his brother, who still insists on inviting Frank to Christmas dinner, despite him refusing to go every year. Oh, I think I did see maybe bits of this, like while it was like on running on TV or something like that. That sounds familiar.
I think it's once again, I was young. I think when I did come across this, probably also on TV, but it just seems like kind of like a modern at the time retelling of Scrooge, right? Very kind of loosely based off of Christmas Carol.
I mean, it was called Scrooge, so like, obviously, but
and it had that more cynical attitude to it.
But like, yeah.
But like, yeah.
But yeah. That's Mickey's Christmas Carol. Give me another.
Let's do it. It's
Christmas
fun.
gift bringer. 2 words. Christmas characters.
Isn't that Santa?
I mean, I guess like. I guess.
Right, he's a gift bringer.
So it always feels weird. So like, I know gift bringer is a hyphenated word, so it is like technically one word. But when you're playing charades, it feels a little like, what do you do with hyphenated words? Because before anyone knows what your words are, if you say 2 words, no one's thinking the second word is going to be a hyphenated one word.
Yeah, that's true. Well, not to mention, usually when we would play charades, we would use, if it was a term, it would be a term that people would say. I don't hear people saying, "Oh, it's a Christmas gift bringer."
Yeah.
Right. Like that's just not a natural, unless you don't hear it very often.
What would be a not Christmas gift bringer? What if you were just a gift bringer? Like that's who you are as a person.
I am the gift bringer.
I am the gift bringer. Who is that?
I don't know why, but why does that remind me? I have no idea why it took me here, but it took me to The Witcher, and it took me to like the show The Witcher, the show version.
Okay.
And drop a coin. I don't know why I went to that song.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
Or toss a coin to your Witcher. I have no idea why it took me to that, but for some reason it's like I am the gift bringer. No idea why it took me
I am
there.
the Christmas Witcher.
Right. I have nothing on this.
I have nothing to say.
I already went to The Witcher, and it was like 2 minutes.
Well, like I'm just like, yeah, like Christmas gift bringer. I guess like as opposed to a Christmas gift receiver.
Because everybody who celebrates, at least traditionally, and they do the gift exchange, they are a gift bringer to some degree. It's gift bringer, right? Yeah, you bring a gift somewhere.
I'm imagining a Christmas-related sports game where like one team's the gift bringers and one's the gift receivers.
Gift receiver, I knew.
And you have to like cross fields or something so that all the receivers get the gifts and all the bringers. Mm-hmm. I guess it's a cooperative game. I don't know what the competition
is.
And then
the winner gets all the gifts,
maybe,
I guess.
So there's the gift bringers, the gift receivers. And so the bringers have to get the gifts to the receivers. But then you have the Scrooge, the Grinch, and something else.
Yes, yeah, I like that.
That have to run and try to intercept.
I like that. Who would the quote-unquote goalie, is there a goalie in this game? Like actually,
I'm kind of imagining this kind of like, it's almost like a game of tag, right? So there's no goal. So like maybe it's like a... Like 2-2-2, right? You got 2 gift bringers, 2 gift receivers, and 2 interceptors that are like Scrooge and Grinch or something.
Okay.
And so really, the bringers are on like one side of the field, the receivers on the other. Mm-hmm. And the 2 interceptors are just trying to beat the crap out of the bringers so that they can't give away the gifts.
I like it.
I don't know. It's a weird game of like tag or something.
That was a great example of improv on your part. I was impressed with that.
My whole life is improv. That's all I do. I make it all up as I go. I don't know or do anything but improv.
I'd play that game.
I hope so. We're inventing it now. It's going to be a Profoundish exclusive. I don't know what makes it exclusive, but a Profoundish exclusive
on Patreon.
We're gonna get it's 2-2-2, so we need to find 4 other people. Yeah, we're gonna do a video. We're gonna film this. Mm-hmm. We're gonna play. What's the name of this game anyway?
We might have to go to the drawing boards for that one. I don't know. What would it be? Because we could gift bringers, gift receivers. You're trying to get the gift over.
Because it's kind of like tag. It's kind of like a handoff type thing, like a relay type thing.
Right.
And it's Christmas related. I don't know. Christmas.
I mean, you could do just a total play on it, because like you're trying to get the goal is to get the gifts somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So it could. Who gets the gifts somewhere is Rudolph. It could be called like Run Run Rudolph or something like that.
Run Run Rudolph is good.
Something like that.
Run Rudolph, or even literally just like gift tag or something like that. But like, I like Run Rudolph because it's a lot more on the nose.
Right. That was good. Weston Hasty has just peaked, everybody.
I'll be here all week, folks.
He's here all week, but the peak is over. Just remember.
Speaking of the peak being over, we're at that hour and a half. Do we want to end on that awful pun?
Why don't we do a few more?
You want to do a few more?
Couple more.
Couple more?
We'll give a little extra on this back half.
Stocking! One word. Christmas words.
Stocking.
Stocking!
You guys do stockings growing up?
Yeah, we would have, if I'm trying to remember right, I think we just have big ones with like our names on them, and they have like little like knickknacks or candies or just small gifts in them or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
For us, stockings were very important. Okay, so not that the act of like hanging them up and putting stuff in there, but more like the stockings themselves. So like my mom still puts out our stockings, and it's the same ones we've had since we were born. So these are it's almost 30-year-old stockings. So and she always keeps it. That's one thing of mine from my childhood that I can't have.
We only bring them out like once a year, so like you don't need new ones unless something happened to them.
Right, but like we put a lot of, I guess that's special to us for one reason or another. It's just because it's. Since you were a baby, it's really special to her because she's obviously seen me grow up and all that stuff.
Because she's the mom.
Because she's the mom, right. So it's cool. Nowadays, we'll do candy in there still because we'll still open stockings now. But usually now there's like little, you said like knickknacks. There's like little practical knickknacks now that we'll get from the same guy who was, that we're talking about earlier. He'll put like, Mom will do the candy and then he'll do, like 1 year, I think it was 2 years ago, in our stockings, we all got, if you're like stuck, you're flipped in your car, you can't get out, you need to break, or whatever the situation is, you need to break out of your window. There's like a little tool that you can use to crack the window and like get out. Like super practical, random things you wouldn't think about getting yourself.
Yeah.
That he's really thoughtful with that stuff.
Question is, do you keep that in your car where you could reach it if that were to happen?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do, Weston. Thank you.
That would be a me move for sure. You get a gift like that and it ends up in, like, I don't know, the closet at home. And I'm like, well, that's not helpful.
Right. Yeah, it's in my car. It's still in the packaging because I never needed it, but it's right there.
Well, that's what I think. Well, that's a gift you hope you never need.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Another thing that I have in the back of my car is when he used to work in very extreme environments, like extremely cold, extremely hot. This is years ago. He used to work in oil refineries across the world, and he's never in these extremely cold places now, like well below zero. But when he had like a thermal suit, like an actual thermal. And he said, well, if you ever. I mean, I live in the South now, so it's not that big of a deal, but anytime if I need a thermal suit and like I'm stranded and I can't start my car and I'm, because you don't want to keep your car running if you're completely compounded in snow, which I don't know why that would happen, but those are situations where you're
an avalanche,
whatever,
in the middle of Illinois.
Listen, you never know. Okay, there could be kids sledding down on that one golf hill,
and just bringing the whole avalanche,
golf avalanche. But I got a thermal suit, so I won't freeze to death. So there you go.
Even if I had a thermal suit, I probably wouldn't have it in the car. I wouldn't be wearing it. Yeah. The one time I ever got stuck out in the snow, I was just like in jeans and a hoodie, and like I had to dig my car out, and my jeans were like soaked. And I'm like, I'm gonna die.
Wasn't that kind of recently?
No, that was years ago.
Oh, okay, never mind. I know you've had some car problems. I thought that was part of it, but that was a different thing.
No. The car problems relating to snow was years ago. So,
okay.
Where I was just stuck on a highway because the snow was just too deep.
Right.
I wasn't ditched. The snow was just too deep. I was moving, and then I wasn't.
And then you weren't, right.
And I definitely couldn't back up. I was just stuck.
Right.
They actually shut down that highway. They closed it like an hour after I was already stuck in it. I'm like, you turds. I had no idea the conditions were this bad. I had no idea you weren't running plows. The road was open.
Right.
I'm still mad about it.
I would be too. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't remember doing anything crazy about stuff. I'm trying to remember last year. I don't think we do stockings anymore. Unless we have them in the tree. I don't remember.
Yeah.
We would do them at work. I've got a bag full of stockings that I'll like hang up at work and put like a chocolate in for all the employees.
That's a cute idea.
Yeah.
Is that something that you started, or is that a tradition that's been going on?
My old boss used to do that.
That's cool.
Little stockings for all the employees, and then they sold the place, and we have new bosses. I'll do that.
Yeah, that's cool. You're carrying on
a bag of chocolates and give everyone a chocolate.
Right.
No big deal.
Well, that's neat. It'd be cool. Hopefully, down the road when maybe you're not there anymore, somebody else carries on that tradition.
It'll just die.
You're probably right, to be honest. But
just die.
But I'm trying to be hopeful here.
I'm trying to have the Christmas spirit.
That's right.
One word: shepherd. Christmas characters.
I don't think much of. I mean, like
it's a very Christian Christmas word where you're thinking of like the three wise men and shepherds and sheep and because Jesus and
when I hear the word shepherd, I do go back to my going to Christmas Mass on like Christmas, or I guess Christmas Eve Mass, like the night before Christmas. We used to do that a lot, and we'd sing hymns and stuff. And when I think of the word shepherd, I think of that because a lot of the songs would have the word shepherd in it or whatever. Right. And it's about that whole the nativity, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I don't have much else to say about it. That's a very classic biblical story. There's no room at the inn.
All I know is that living in the cornfields of Illinois, I don't meet many shepherds.
No, me neither.
Shepherds are almost like a mythical character that you only experience at nativities for like Christians.
And due to that, the only visual I have of a shepherd is the one you're thinking of, which is you can't really see their face. They got the curvy
long
staff,
brown robe, and with the crooked staff.
Right, and then they always have the hood on. You can barely see their face. I picture that the same way every time.
It's like a knight in shining armor. It's like the same level of mythicality to me.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the exact same. It's like or a wizard or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like this is the one time I see I guess shepherds are real because sheep need shepherds because shepherd, sheep.
Yeah, sheep. And they just didn't they didn't do shepherd because it sounds funny, so they changed to shepherd.
They should have done shepherd.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's figure it out.
Because shepherds herd sheep. Because sheeps are in herds.
In a lot of ways, that makes complete sense. Sheep herd.
Christmas movies, 2 words, Bad Santa.
Who was in that?
I remember Bad Teacher, that movie coming out. I don't remember Bad Santa. I'm sure it was a thing. I don't remember. I'm looking it up. Bad Santa.
Was that, what's his name?
Criminals Willie, Tony Cox, and Marcus, Billy Bob Thornton, disguise themselves as Santa Claus and his elf and travel across the country to major malls using the goodwill people have towards Santa to rob the stores blind.
Okay.
Came out in 2003.
I vaguely remember this. This was a movie I don't think I saw much of. It was mainly a go to the rental store, and I'd always see it on the shelf at the rental store, or the video store. That probably dated us there, but I would do that. It was one of those movies I always wondered what it was, but I never saw it because it looked like it was for adults, which it is for adults.
It sounds like a good premise, though.
It does actually.
We'll add that to our list of movies to watch on the Patreon.
That one, and then also always love her.
Everyone says I love you.
Everyone says I love you.
I was saying watch because it says watch. Everyone says I love you.
It's even more confusing. You want to do one more?
One more.
Let's see how it is.
Here we go. Christmas words, 2 words, Christmas lights.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
I don't think I have any hung up.
Do you ever hang any up?
No. I'm not very decorative anyway. I've got my tree, and that's pretty much it.
Well, I already said earlier, I kind of prefer the white lights. Do you have a preference on what kind of lights you like to see when you're maybe out driving around or whatever?
Well, I like the white lights, like the white or yellow lights, if it's on, snow or something that's supposed to look snowy. It's the very, white Christmas look. But if you're going with, a bunch of decorations, maybe you got, if someone owns a home, they've got, blow-up Santa or elves or something outside or whatever, then you like the reds and the blues and the greens. Because it's just a lot more garish, I guess. It's just a lot more colorful. There's a lot going on. You get them, flashing to, the sound of a song playing or something. I do love those big homes and they just go all out on the decorations. That is really cool. I remember we used to go through a neighborhood out in Mahomet, and it was just everybody in that in this big neighborhood in this town would do it except one house. And I remember there was this house on the edge of the street. Well, actually, it was the second to last house on the edge of the street. Okay. And then there's a dead end. And so at the second to last house, it was probably still from what I remember, the biggest and best we've ever seen. They had their home tied up to a radio station sometimes. Some houses would do that. And they had the blow-up things. They had things that would move around. They had, reindeer, running across their yard, little, wood reindeer running across, all kinds of cool stuff. And then, here comes hold on. My, the sparkling water.
Sparkling water gassiness is coming up. Man.
There it is. Let it out. Let the demon out.
I know. I seriously. Let 3 burps out in a row. But then the neighbor. Yeah. Their neighbor, the last one on the edge of the street. No lights. Nothing. No anything except a big blow-up Grinch with its arms on its sides, looking angry, looking at their yard. That's actually pretty funny, though. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What better way to do it? It was just perfect. It's we're not... Because I can imagine that, husband and wife having that conversation, you know what I mean? It's well, we could match everyone else in the neighborhood, but this could be funny, too. I like the idea of being well, I'm not really that into Christmas gifts, but the whole neighborhood's crazy. Right. But I don't want to pay that electricity bill. Yeah, really. Idea. Right. Grinch. Because they could have easily not done anything. And then you wouldn't have even thought about it anyway, really. They would every day. But no one else really would. They would just, the people driving down the road would turn around and go whatever. But that's perfect. I just think that's such a good idea. Anyway. Did you guys do it? In your house? Decorations? Your family house growing up? Yeah, we have some, we don't go all out, we don't go crazy, but my mom's got a box of Christmas decorations that she'll put up on the doors, or there's the trees all decorated and lit up, we don't go all out or whatever, but there's some interior decorations. We usually don't have anything outside. They've got a red and green light, they changed the outside lights to a red and green light instead of the regular lights, so that's kind of Christmassy. Yeah. That's about it. No one's driving by our house going, "Oh my God, look at the decorations!" Right. It's just regular. I don't know. Same kind of thing with my family house. Well, that's all I got. That's all. I think that's all we both got. That's all I got on Christmas lights. That's all I got. I think that's a good way to wrap it up. That way, we didn't have to end on a gift. Wrap it up. Yeah, gift. Wrap it up. Gift. Wrap it up. Send it. I just got done saying we weren't ending on a pun. I had to think of another one, and then here you are. All improv, baby. All improv all the time. Well, stick around, everybody, for our Patreon stuff. Patreon.com/Profoundish. Perhaps Profoundish Pod. Probably Profoundish.
There'll be like it'll be like in the description or something.
Yeah.
But thank you all so much for listening and spending your Christmas time with us. At least a little bit. I hope it wasn't all your time just listening to the podcast.
Well, luckily, if you're listening to it as it comes out, you still have a little time, maybe tonight, because this comes out in the morning, and you do have Christmas Day. Last year, we came out on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think we did.
And it actually did surprisingly well early on. Like we got a lot of...
I imagine people are like getting together at family's house and they put on the TV just our podcast.
I would never do that in my house. Maybe it's because I'm on it. I don't know, but it's like...
I don't want to listen to me talking about a thing that I've already heard.
Yeah, believe it or not, no.
I was there.
Although when I have listened to snippets of our show...
Yeah.
I forget that I've said things. I'm sure you do too. It's like, oh my God, we talked about that? Well,
yeah, it's been so long now, and we've talked for, like, if every episode is like at least an hour long,
right?
We've got like whatever episode this is, but 60, 70, 80, 90 plus hours of stuff. So
that's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's cool.
It's a lot of stuffing presents.
Okay.
Gift stuffers.
You were losing me with stuffing because I was thinking Thanksgiving. But then you kind of say...
Stocking stuffers.
You say, that's good. I like stocking stuffers.
I tried.
That's good. That's a good, like... Well, never mind. I don't... My improv is totally off today. I'm tired. I think it's this candle. I think this candle that you got going, which does smell good now. I'm smelling it. I think it's melting my brain. Just little by little.
You're not supposed to put your nose over it.
The whole time I've just been huffing it in.
Huffing candle.
Huffing candle.
That tree, what was it called? Tree farm?
Tree farm. You turned that candle around.
I needed to turn it a little bit to the left. I turned it like 350 degrees to the right.
Where can people find you on the internet, Weston?
I'm Weston. You can find my website, westonhasty.com. It has all the things that I do on it there. If you're into gaming, I do a gaming channel on YouTube called Magic Man Mo. Come check out some Let's Plays with me and hang out during a stream or something. It's a lot of fun.
They're fun.
Yeah.
He's really fun with his, if there's a game that has a lot of different characters, he'll voice a lot of different characters. That's always one of my favorite highlights, because it's fun watching him try and remember all the different characters.
I know, I lose track. I'll get like 17 different characters. I'm like, well, I've got like 5 voices, so...
It's got to change them out.
So that's pretty good. Where do we find you?
Find me also at westonhasty.com. No, I'm just kidding.
Under the Profoundish tab.
Somewhere in there.
Link.
Same on mine. There's a Profoundish tab under mine. No, you can... I guess a good place would be alexduquette.net. Has a little ring to it. You can find my music there. I do original music. If you're in the spirit right now and you haven't heard it, check out my Christmas medley, which is directly on my homepage of that website. So go there. I think that's all I'm going to shout out right now. But then Profoundish is everywhere too.
Profoundish is everywhere. Listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and then a couple other random places here and there. I mean, if you're listening to us, you know where to listen to us. Give us a like, a subscribe, a 5-star, whatever it is you can do. Share with your friends. Let people know we exist. We're a lot of fun. You know we're a lot of fun. You made it to the end of this podcast.
If you made it to the end of this podcast, yes. I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not.
You deserve this. You all deserve this podcast.
You know what, Wes? I'm glad you said that. I'm not sorry either. I changed my mind.
And then check out our brand new Patreon, patreon.com/Profoundish, assuming that exists by the time this is out. If it doesn't, egg will be on my face.
We're going to take a picture of an egg, break it on his forehead, and we're gonna have he will literally have egg on his face.
We will have Weston Sunny Side Up.
That sounds like your morning show on a radio station.
It could be.
Weston Sunny...
You're listening to Western Sunny Side Up, and then some kind of jingle.
Yep. You can just use the same Magic Man Mo theme that I've written for you.
Yeah, just the same thing.
One.
Thank you all so much for listening. Until next time.
All right. We got to do it together this time. We saw each other.